Okay, so now that we have tested our API endpoint and we have like checked that we are receiving data from this particular endpoint. So now we were checking it in the console in our browser, but now we want to grab that data in our application and we want to grab the values from the endpoint. We want to fetch the data and we want to use it in our UI. We want to display it in our UI. So now let's do that. So first of all, let me just show you that how that data looks like, although I've shown you before. So this is that, but let me just show you here. It looks a little cleaner. So this is how the data we are receiving from the endpoint. So this is an array, and inside this is an object. Inside that there are the classes, and we this is an array. Weather is an array. Inside that we have objects, array of objects, and this is the main. This is also an object. So the data is something like this. It's a little bit obscure and scattered, but now we have to like grab what data we want and that we want to fetch. Okay, so let's go ahead and do it. So first of all, we want temperature, humidity, and pressure. So where are they? Okay, so inside the main object, there is a temperature. We'll take the pressure and we'll take the humidity. Okay, so let's write code for that, for grabbing these values. So we'll write the code below the data where we are getting this data. Now no need to console it, so we can just comment it, or after that we can just delete it. So after we got the data in the JSON format, like data will be about res.json. That means the result would be converted into JSON, and that then it would be stored in the data variable. All right, so now we will grab the data. So we'll take up a constant, and inside that will be an object. So here we'll write, first of all we want temperature, then we want humidity. Remember, these words are need to be same as the words are which we receive from the endpoint. All right, because when I go in the browser and I see like temperature, we want the temperature, we want the humidity, and we want the pressure. All right, so this is temp, pressure, and humidity. The like spelling must be same. Okay, temp, humidity, and pressure. And now this is equal to, I mean this will be equal to data dot main. That's all. Now let me show you why I have written data dot main. Don't get confused here, because data dot main, like data is the entire, this all of this is data. All of this is data, because all of this is in JSON format. We have converted that res into JSON by res.json, and then we have stored it in data variable. Okay, so all this is data. Inside this we want the main, this main object. So inside this main object we want some of the fields. So that's why I have written res dot data, like data dot main. So data, and inside that the main object. All right, next we want the, like how is the weather, it's cloudy, sunny, or whatever it is. So that we want to write. So first let me check how that looks like here. So that is main, that is the main data dot weather. So main is the type of the weather. So maybe it's, see, this is the main. So now it's showing rain. So like main is not justified. We can give it another name. So inside weather, inside the weather, inside weather we have, weather is an array. Inside weather array we have an object, and that we have an class named main. Okay, so we want to grab this, the value of this main. All right. Okay, so I will change the name of this main, because main doesn't seem to be like justified. Okay, so const same as this. Now we want to grab the main. So main, but we want to rename it. So we can rename it by providing a new name. So main is the original name, but providing this colon, and after that whatever value will provide, so that will be the new name for this main main class. Okay, so we'll provide maybe we can write weather type, weather type, weather type, maybe just we can write camel casing, weather type, and this we want to grab from data, of course from data. And then there was a weather array, remember, I will show you once again. Let me just type this first. Weather, there was an array, so in the array we want the first one. Okay, so then we'll put 0 here because we want the first one. Okay, so let me just show you again. And here you can see there is weather, this is an array, you can see the square brackets, this means an array, and inside that we want the 0, like the first first object of the array, like first object here. Okay, so that is the first one, and inside that we want the main. All right, okay, now next we want the name of the city. Okay, so name of the city would be const, and here we'll provide the name. Now from where we'll get the name, because name is not under any other array or object, name is here down, it's here, so it is not, it is independent of all, it's just outside. So inside the data only we have to grab the name. All right, so we'll just write name is equal to data, and that's it. From the data only we'll grab the name. Now we want the speed, so wind speed, and now let me first check where is the wind speed. So let's go to the browser and see where is the speed. Did you see somewhere speed? I did not see yet. Okay, speed is here inside the wind object, we see the speed. Okay, then from the wind, no, yeah, wind, from wind we'll grab the speed. Speed is equal to data dot wind course. Then we want the country and the sunset, so when is the sunset time, so that also we'll check once in the browser. We want the country, country is in the sys. Okay, inside the sys array we have the country and we have the sunrise and sunset. So you can provide anything. Here we are using limited things, you can use many of the things here, like sunrise, sunset, many values are here, so you can provide any. So we will be using just sunset. From here we'll be using the country name and the sunset, so we'll use the keyword country and sunset. Okay, so when we go here and when we grab the value, so we'll write const an object, and here we'll write country, that is the name of the country, then we'll take up the sunset value. All right, all right, so now we will, that is present under the sys object, so data dot sys. All right, okay, so now that we have grabbed all these values, we can just test it out like they are working or not. But before that we need to pass it to our weather details card, right? Weather details, because that is another component that is not here. No, here we only have the search and the search button. The displaying part is done here in this weather details.js, so we need to pass the value, pass the data here. So first of all we'll create an object, so that will contain all of this data. So we'll first of all, let me create another variable inside the use state hook, so that will be const, and it will be named as weather, like temp info. So we'll just provide temp info, and then we'll provide set temp info, and that will be use state, and the value to this will be an like empty object, because we are creating, this is not just a variable, This is not a like a numerical value, something like that, or a string. This is an empty object. Okay, so an empty object, this is like temp info is an empty object. Inside this we'll grab all these values. All right, so now what we'll do is we'll fill this empty object, like we'll provide it like my new weather info. We can just provide my new weather info, and this is an object. Don't be confused with arrays and object, because this is an object. Curly braces is an object. All right, so now we want to grab all of these. Well, just write one by one all of these variables, all of these classes, right? So first we'll grab the temp, then we'll grab the humidity, then we'll grab the pressure, then we'll grab the weather type, then we'll grab the name of the city, then we'll grab the speed of the wind, next we'll take up the country, like the name of the country, and next we'll take up the sunset, time of the sunset, right? Let me just save it. Okay, so this looks like that. Also my code is refactored like automatically, so for that I've installed an extension that is called Prettier. So you can install that extension, and whenever you save your like file, so after on save, your like code will be refactored, and it will look like little beautiful. All right, so the code will be refactored and it will look arranged. Okay, so now that we have grabbed these values, so let us just pass these values into that function. So set temp info, and will be containing this object, so my weather info. All right, so that's all. Now this object will be filled with all of that values. So now because we passed it inside that function. All right, so this is the catch for catching an error. So now almost we are done with getting the data, but now we want to display it on this weather details, and we want to display the data on the UI part. So we'll do it in the next part. So see you in the next one.